Well, Disventure Camp All-Stars is over, and we got 2 new spin-off series, being the Staff Stories and the Tom and Drake one. Overall, I think the spin-off series are a cool direction for Disventure Camp, and they can be very interesting and a good way to get some background information or just further development for some characters, which I again think could be really fun. Out of the 2, I'm definitely looking more forward to the Staff Stories, and today we actually did get the first episode. And the first episode was about Jensen. Jensen is definitely an interesting character. I have really never cared for him. He didn't really play that big of a role, I feel like, in season 1. Like, he was just there. He was kind of like you knew something up with Jensen. Like, Jensen kind of gave you like crazy murder vibes. Like, Jensen looked scary. He definitely looked like he just broke out of prison. And the only really memorable thing about Jensen for me during season 1 is like him stealing the money, which this episode does start with. Like, him crashing the bus and him trying to escape from the police. That's how the episode starts. And this episode, just overall, I think it was pretty good. It was definitely way more darker than I thought it was going to be. Just spoiler warning, there's a lot of death in this episode, which I was not expected. Sometimes I like shows that are a little bit more humorous, have some funny, and this show didn't really have much of that. It was just a lot more dark, I feel like, which some people will like. Like, I think it's decent, but I do prefer shows that have a little bit more humor. So this episode wasn't my cup of tea, but it's not bad. I would just say that's not bad. And it is a good episode just to give some background on a character like Jensen. We don't really know much about Jensen. He was just this mysterious, prison-looking dude. That's all we knew. And how they kind of told Jensen's story was kind of like present and past. So we see Jensen trying to escape from the cops, but we also learn about Jensen when he was a little kid, which I think is a very good way to do this. I actually kind of like it. It's very nice to know sometimes about some of the characters' past and how the childhood was like, just to get to know some more information on them. And for shows like Total Draw and Disventure Camp, we don't really get to know much about the past. Like, we get some small hints of it, but we don't get much. And also, for a character like Jensen, like I mentioned before, we don't know a lot about Jensen. So it's really good to get some more information on this mysterious character. I am going to focus more on the past right now, then I'll talk about the present. So we start with the past. So we have this character, I don't remember his name, it's his sister. I think she starts the letter N, I think it's like Nasha. It might be Nasha, I'm not 100% sure. But we have him and his sister, and they work at an animal shelter. And Jensen brings home this cute little puppy, which I think was really cute. I love him, he looked adorable. And Jensen has a really close connection to this dog, and honestly all the animals there. He just wants the animals to be happy and live a good life. However, they do work at a dog shelter. And some of you know, dog shelters can be kind of dark sometimes, which Jensen's sister does touch on, and this does leave Jensen kind of heartbroken, which is very understandable, definitely for a kid. He just wants the animal to be happy and gets home, and him learning about this dark truth will hurt him, and it's understandable why he ran away with the dog. He loves his dog so much, and he wants him to be happy. So basically, he just runs away with the dog, he starts playing with him, having a fun, enjoyable time. But sadly, this fun, enjoyable time doesn't last forever. Right before he leaves, he sees these 2 stray dogs, and they definitely did not look friendly, and they weren't. So they decided to attack Jensen. Also, these 2 stray dogs, they kind of look similar to the puppy, so I want to guess those are his parents, or they kind of just like adopted him, which I find very interesting. I think they're related, but unlike the puppy, these dogs were not nice, and they decided to attack Jensen. But right before they can attack him, his sister comes and tries his best to protect him. However, this is when the story kind of started getting pretty dark. The sister actually died. I was not expecting this for a Disventure Camp episode. I was not expecting death and actually being blood. It was way more darker than I thought it was going to be. Like I mentioned in this video, this episode is pretty dark. And his sister does die from these 3 dogs. And this must suck for Jensen so much. I can't imagine being a child and seeing that happening right in front of you. And just in general, seeing that in front of you in general, like, that must be messed up. Also, it must hurt him so much too. He lost his sister. He feels like it's kind of his fault too, because he's the one that like let the dog out, stuff like that. He just wanted the dog to be happy, but the same dogs did kill his sister, which does really do suck. I don't know what to say. This episode does kind of play with your emotions a little bit. But we also do learn the knife that Jensen does carry around is from his sister. And it's probably one of the few things he has to remember her. But that's really it for the past.
Hello, it's Editor Me. How you guys doing? I'm chilling.
But I just want to mention some other things real quick about the past scenes. This also probably explains why Jensen is how he is. He had a pretty difficult and sad childhood. He probably had a pretty close relationship with his sister, and him losing her must really suck, definitely during a really young age. And we also don't really know if Jensen has any other family members, so he could have had a really rough time after that. So I do feel bad for Jensen. But it was nice to know some of his past, even if it was really sad. But moving on to the present. It starts off from like the finale of season 1 where Jensen crashed and a lot of people thought he was dead, but he's not. He broke out and was running away. I don't know what the cops are doing. I don't know if they're dumb, they're deaf. I don't know how they didn't hear him running away from the broken bus. Like, Tom, come get your cops, because clearly they should not be high. Like, what are they doing? They must be deaf or something. Because you tell me you did not hear someone walk out a whole bus and start running. These cops are definitely questionable. Honestly, throughout this whole episode, these cops, I don't know what they're doing. But Jensen does run into a cave eventually, and he sees this wolf, and this wolf does have a little puppy, which is very cute. Can I just say, I love the puppy wolf design so much. The little baby wolf is so adorable. It's probably one of my favorite designs for like animals in Total Drama or Disventure Camp. It's just so cute. I just like want to give it a hug. But enough for the baby wolf. So going back to the story, the mother wolf decides to attack Jensen, which makes sense. A lot of animals in nature, just in general, are very protective over their newborns. And Jensen does protect herself by stabbing the wolf in the leg, leaving the mother wolf in a lot of pain, and she's hurt. And you do see Jensen feel a little guilt, definitely when he sees the little pup, which I think is kind of trying to relate to his past. It kind of makes sense why they showed his past in the future. I think Jensen kind of relates to this little puppy wolf. Definitely as the story goes on for the present, I kind of see like the connections between him and the little wolf. But after that, Jensen decides to help the wolf. He was a little distant at first and didn't really want to help him, but as time went on, he kind of grew a better connection to the mother wolf and the little pup, which I found very cute. He got food for them. He also played fetch with the little puppy, which was so adorable. It was so cute. I also have dogs, and yeah, definitely play fetch too. Even though one of the dogs, when you play fetch, he's a little pug. When you play fetch, he does not bring the ball back. He'll just grab the ball and run away. I'm like, okay, I guess you don't want to play fetch then. But my other dogs, I have 2 dogs. My other dog loves playing fetch. He's so adorable. So yeah, I do have 2 dogs, but I am definitely more of a cat person. But dogs are definitely cute. Let's not get sidetracked though. Going back to the story. So Jensen's having a grand old time with these wolves. However, this does end. Eventually, these 2 policemen come in. The policemen from the start that were deaf and didn't hear anything. They just come in the cave and find Jensen. And they do shoot the wolf, which, again, is another death. Spoiler warning, the wolf does die. It's sad. This episode has a lot of death for some reason. And Jensen tries his best to save the mother wolf and the baby, and luckily they did run away. But like I mentioned before, the mother wolf did sadly die. Which again, I felt very sad. Like, why is there so much death in this episode? Are you trying to make me cry or something? Like, what are you doing in Disventure Camp? I see you there. However, it does end slightly positive or good. It's not really positive since there's a lot of death still, but Jensen and the little wolf decided to go on an adventure together. They're going to live together, and Jensen's probably going to spend the rest of his life with that little puppy wolf, which is very cute, and I'm glad Jensen was able to find someone. It definitely says Jensen and this little wolf kind of can relate to each other. They both lost someone they're very close to. And just like that, they go their own ways and on their own adventure. And this was the end of the first episode of Staff Stories. Hi, it's editor me again. I know you guys are so excited to see me again. But overall, I think this was a pretty good episode and a good start for Disventure Camp. All Stars was definitely something. But these spin-off series can be very good and enjoyable. It can help us understand some characters' past. We even might see some characters' future. Like for example, hey, we might get like an Aiden and James wedded. We never know. So I do think these spin-off series can be really good, and I do hope to do more of them. This first episode was pretty good. It's not my cup of tea, like I said in the beginning. It's a little too dark for me, but it makes sense. Disventure Camp is more adult-like. It's more mature. So they are going to sometimes have to cover topics like this, which makes sense. This episode was pretty sad, but we do kind of get to see a softer side of Jensen, which we really never saw. him and that puppy were pretty cute together, and they get to go on their own adventure. I still do think Jensen's just alright character. Like, this episode definitely helped me like him a little bit more, but I still overall just find him as alright character. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts on this episode. Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? I just want to know, how do you feel about this first episode for a spin-off series? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day or night, and peace.